This is Chris Markowski and Jenna Lane from Your Wake Up Call. I want to talk a little bit about journalism. I remember back when I was in high school, one of the favorite classes I had was my journalism class in 11th grade. You know, you have those teachers that you remember their first name, you remember their name. It just was a really good experience, and I really enjoyed it. But it was basic stuff. But for whatever reason it may be, I read and I see a lot of the news today, and I say to myself, they would fail my 11th grade journalism class. Case in point, you got Chris Cuomo, who came out. He was interviewing Arnie Duncan, who is the education secretary, and basically coming out on his program. And he's an anchor, okay? He's not a comment guy like me. I am an opinion guy. However, I could be a journalist if I chose to do so. I just do not. But if you're going to take on that role, and you know this, you're not supposed to advocate for things. And what he did is he said, you know what? We here at CNN are going to basically go to bat for the White House and the administration on Obama's education initiatives. What were your thoughts on this?
Well, journalism has been my, calling since, gosh, I don't even know when. And one of the things that, has always been emphasized, if you're going to be a journalist, you need to be objective, you need to be unbiased, and you really can't force your opinions on other people. The idea is to give people the facts and let them disseminate what they want to believe. Let them sift through that information and formulate their own opinions. Now, it's one thing to be a political analyst, and I think that, on those programs, on Fox News, on CNN, you have political analysts, and I think their roles are fine because they're not disguising themselves as reporters. They're analysts. They're giving their opinions. But when an actual reporter comes out and says that, and then when they have the backing of a network, that raises huge flags, and now I really do have to question the credibility, and I've already done this before with CNN. I was very critical of their coverage during the Boston bombing. And it's sad because, during that time I actually praised Chris Cuomo because I thought he did a really good job. I thought he handled the humanistic element of it. I thought that, he treated in dealing with the victims and their families, I thought he was very sincere. I thought that he was thorough. I thought that his facts were on point. But in this situation, I'm really disappointed because, quite frankly, I can't take anything that I watch now on that network seriously anymore because I know that there's a spin to it. Now, you know that there's spin already when it comes to media. You know that these different networks, you know who's going to be more liberal, who's going to be more conservative, and I get that. But coming out and full-fledged offering support of the White House and this initiative, I'm a big fan of education and things like that. I'm a big fan of certain things, but again, I can't force that on people. I can't force that on our listeners either because it's not fair to them.
You're supposed to be for lack of a better, you're supposed to be the devil's advocate. You're supposed to be asking the difficult questions and posing them. You're not supposed to be advocating for any sort of cause. If you want to do that, well, then you have to obviously put on a different hat.
Well, and two, you know what? I know that there are a lot of people in our position out there. You and I both have our respective causes that we support. We're both big advocates of helping children, especially kids that come from abused homes, supporting foster kids, but at the same time, we separate that from what we do. We mention it. That's who we are. It's hard to fully keep our hearts out of it because, again, we talk about our personal lives on this program, but at the same time, we're not pushing it on you. We're not forcing it on you. We're not saying you have to do this. This is why you need to do this. We want to, again, provide people with information so that they know, hey, you know what? There are programs out there that help kids. If this is something you're interested in, then go ahead and get involved in this. But at the same time, we also talk about a lot of other programs that people can get involved with as well. So I think we do a pretty good job of balancing that, not to toot our own horn or anything, but it's just really sad that some people, they take their own personal beliefs and opinions and networks and they force it down people's throats. It's not fair.
No, you can't do it if you're a journalist. It's against the rules, at least back from my 11th grade journalism class it was. Maybe they're teaching things different now. Maybe it's part of that Common Core curriculum.
Let's get back to the basics, why don't we?
We'll see you next time.